this is the last day of 2014, and I've got a cold, so I've got that deep 70s rhythm and blues voice, you know, those sultry songs from the 70s. That's how I sound. But I'm going to do like a recap of precious metals for last year, and maybe talk about next year. So, Moments and Trading had given a expected range based upon his Monte Carlo simulation, statistical numbers thing, and he was very accurate. Silver's at 1569 right now, and his expectation, I won't say prediction, his expectation for silver was right on target. However, it's December 31st, and the whole thing didn't collapse. Like we heard a few months ago, I did a video, one of my most watched videos ever was where I did a video called Why I Don't Listen to Harvey Organ. And I actually took that video down because I was getting trolled so much, I just got tired of it. But guess what? It's now, look at the price of silver and gold the last day of 2014. So it looked like his prediction was very, very far off. And what he said gets said on a regular basis. What he said wasn't the first time I've heard things. Since I've started on YouTube, every so often there's someone like Lindsey Williams. There was some guy, Gordon Gekko, had this blog. They say it's all going to come down, and they give you the they give the story that's so, you know, exciting and scary, and nothing, you know, nothing came close to that happened. So the story that I heard from the pharmacist guy, I heard so many times, I'm like, oh, come on, give me a break. But apparently a lot of people, that was the first time they heard that, or they just hear crying wolf so much that they don't have a limit to the crying wolf thing. And of course, eventually, when someone's going to cry wolf in the future, and there's going to be right, and they're going to be right. But how many times do you have to hear the same wolf cry over and over again before it starts drowning out your listening? But so the whole thing didn't collapse. I got trolled. I took the video down, and I didn't hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Silver Futures, for trolling you." It looks like the whole thing didn't collapse, but I didn't expect that because that's the nature of these things. You get some alarmist. They make alarming predictions. They get people who follow them and make angry comments at people who doubt them. And then when it doesn't come true, you just don't hear anything about it. And that's kind of what I hear and expect. So the whole thing didn't collapse by December. And this closing for gold, closing with both 1200, according to technical chart mumbo jumbo, this is like bearish for next year. Based on the current chart, these closings right now for precious metals, especially gold, it's signals new lows next year compared to the last few years. Of course, that's all based upon no other factors in play, because if these charts were so easy to use, we'd all just get rich. We just pick a chart and say, wow, boom, we're rich, easy trade, easy trade. So no trades are that easy, right? No one's going to say, hey, gold closed at, 1100, so therefore it's going to be an easy trade to make next year to short it. Well, I mean, going down is much higher than it going up, but the trades are never quite that easy. So I will say one trade that wasn't easy was the ratio between gold miners and gold. I had done a video in recent times where I talked about how this ratio has been, the ratio between gold and gold miner low was very low, but guess what? It kept going lower. So the ratio was low for a while, and then it kept going lower. So how long will it stay down there? Will it keep going down? Well, I guess we'll find out in 2015. And there's another popular silver channel who does silver updates. It has a religious sounding name. And a few videos ago, I noticed that in the comment section that the people were angry that this person is talking about the moon landings being faked. So it seems that silver territory is now silver theories, moon landing being faked. They're all kind of the same clump together, because on that channel originally, that person from that channel, they had videos on the moon landing being fake, and they took it down. Apparently, it was hurting their viewership. But apparently, right now, that if you talk about moon landings being faked and silver in the same sentence, in addition to it not hurting your base, it might increase your base, because that's where it seems the silver sentiment is right now. It seems like a lot of these theories are on the same level of the moon landing being faked. Now, when I say the moon landing being faked, maybe one of them was faked, right? But all of them being faked, I mean, they do have, how there's Google Earth with satellites? They have Google Moon with satellite images. Go to Google Moon, and they actually have all the moon landings with detail about everything. It's like, well, if the moon landings were faked, that's some very elaborate fakingness. And in my opinion, if the moon landing was faked, there's like every scientist, every expert, everything, they're all in that together, and they're using technology that is probably greater than going to the moon. Because, yeah, going to the moon is hard, but faking something like that to fool the mass population over something that happened in the late 60s seems like it's much greater. And of course, there was a recent movie where they said the moon landings were faked, and I thought that was interesting, right? Now, kind of poking fun at it, but apparently, with these conspiracy theories, I do have an open mind. If there can be some evidence brought forward that's so overwhelming, I'm going to say, okay, yeah, I'll believe that theory. But I mean, yeah. So I was looking in the comment section about that person was trying to say that if you believe the moon landings were real, then you're some kind of, sheeple, government stooge, blah, blah, the usual line. And the arguments there were like, well, he's saying how ridiculous it is that there could be a spacesuit that could handle 250 degrees above and below freezing. But see, the thing about space is a vacuum. And if you're in outer space, whether you're on the moon or in your orbit, you still have the same conditions with the sun being really hot, beating on you. So if this person thinks that the whole idea of a spacesuit being that rugged exists is ridiculous, then I guess that means we never were in orbit, which means all those astronauts going to orbit were all faked. There was no spacewalking. It's the same concept. And the person making that channel also said something to the fact that Santa Claus is more credible than believing in the moon landing. So that's kind of like the state of a lot of those silver theories right now. And there's one ratio about the gold to oil ratio. The gold to oil ratio is like very high from the last few years. And it has been going up. So make what you want over that for the gold to oil ratio. But again, when I'm talking about people making theories, I'm trying to point out the person making the theory. I'm not trying to make fun of the person. If someone wants to say the moon landings were real and do a video on it, and we can talk about that without making fun of the person, I think that's okay. So I think it's fair to say, hey, this person thinks the moon landings were all faked, and I'm thinking, well, to believe that, you have to throw out a lot of evidence, and you have to think that this conspiracy, which has gone on for many decades, where all the scientists in the world are fooled, or all the scientists who aren't way out there are fooled. But now, I'm going to end this video right here, just wrap it up saying that next year, unless something changes, the trajectory for gold and silver isn't spectacular. But, I mean, things are always changing, and this video could be obsolete. Something could happen in a few days to make this video obsolete. But right now, the closing was not spectacular for these metals. So thanks for watching, and be well.